Well everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and compare the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 and the Apple Watch SE 2 and see which specific, watch is the better one for you. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that this comparison is really only for educational purposes. There isn't really a reason why you would want to buy a Galaxy Watch 5 over an Apple Watch SE 2. Mostly because the devices that are compatible with these are not compatible with these watches. So you can't really connect a Galaxy Watch 5 to an iPhone, and you can't really connect an Apple Watch SE 2 to an Android. So there are still ways you can go around using these watches with those. Like if you get the cellular models, like you can still use them as separate devices, but they won't be able to sync with each other. So that is a massive thing to keep in mind. But otherwise, both these watches are, I'm assuming, are kind of going for the same demographic. The Watch 5 Pro and the Series 8 may be going for each other, maybe the Ultra too a little bit. But with the Watch 5, I think this is actually a pretty good watch overall. It really wasn't a crazy big upgrade coming from the Watch 4 in my opinion, but I could also kind of say the same thing about the SE 2. So those are some things to keep in mind. Now if you want to pick up either one of these watches, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now starting off with the outside of both these watches, they are a little bit of a different design. So with the Galaxy Watch 5, it comes in both a 40mm size and a 44mm size, depending on, if you want the bigger one or the smaller one. And it comes in 3 different colors as well, which is really cool. Now, with this specific styling of the watch, the display is a circular type of display versus the Apple Watch SE 2, which is more squared off. I will tell you, there are pros and cons for both sides. I like the Galaxy Watch 5's display though. I think the display is better overall. And I like that circular design. It's really cool. And it looks more like a watch. If I've ever seen one of these in person, it's very hard to distinguish something like this over a standard watch if you're just kind of like running around and if you're not really paying attention. You can tell an Apple Watch is an Apple Watch based off the design. This one is a little bit different. Even if you knew it was a smartwatch, there are so many other smartwatches in the market that look like this that it's also a little bit hard to tell. So definitely keep that in mind. With the Apple Watch SE 2, like I said before, it comes in the same 44 and 40mm sizes. So very cool. I like that. The display is a Retina display. And like I mentioned, it's more of a squared off design. So I've seen people who love this design. I've seen people who don't like this design. I'm kind of indifferent. I used to be one way. Now I think, it just depends on whichever way you want to go with it. I think there's pros and cons for both. And even like with the Galaxy Watch 5, it looks great. The Apple Watch SE 2 looks great too, but I think the design may be a little bit better on the Watch 5 for the most part. It definitely still feels very premium on both watches, so there's not really any issues with there. You have the same styling of buttons and everything that you can configure. The backs, you can wirelessly charge on both. But the big thing to keep in mind that I love about my Galaxy Watch 5 is that you can actually go ahead and power and wirelessly charge from your Samsung phone to your Galaxy Watch 5. So that is a awesome thing. So even if you're running around and you don't, bring your Galaxy Watch 5 charger, you can still go ahead and charge up your Galaxy Watch from your Android, from your Samsung specifically. That is an awesome feature and I love that a lot. That is one reason why I love Samsungs, is because they go ahead and kind of configure a little bit more in those flagship features. On iPhones, you don't have that type of capability. So it's very sad. I wish Apple did it. I know why they don't, but they should just go ahead and do it and give us that feature because it is a really awesome thing. So in that standpoint, that kind of covers it up there, and that kind of covers it up on the outside too. It really just depends on which type of styling you like. Again, if you have an iPhone, you're probably going to get the Apple Watch. With the Galaxy Watch 5, one thing I will tell you though is with the bands, I've said this before, the stock bands that you get inside of the box. So as soon as you unbox this thing and you put the band on, I don't feel like those bands are as of high quality or of higher quality than the Apple Watch SE bands or the bands that you get straight from Apple whenever bands they send you within the box. I feel like Samsung, this is the one area they could improve on in like the next couple of, Samsung Galaxy phones and watches. With the Watch 5 Pro, I kind of felt the same exact thing as well. If you get the metal bands, it may be a little bit of a different story, but these rubber style bands that I've been getting, they're always more premium on the Apple Watches than on the Galaxy Watches in my opinion. So I've owned like 4 or 5 different Galaxy Watches so far, and every single one I've gotten has gotten the same type of feeling for me. Now, if you're going through and you're actually purchasing separate bands, that's a completely different story. I'm mostly talking about the standard bands that you get within the boxes. Now, in terms of the features between them, there are so many overlapping features, it's not even funny. Now, the core features that that you would normally get within a watch. A smartwatch being able to, listen to music and change, reply to notifications and take phone calls, and those types of things are going to work exactly the same on both these watches. So if somebody's calling you, you're going to be able to pick it up, on your watch. If you're getting a text message or whatever, you're going to be able to see all these things within your watch anyway. So that is probably one thing to keep in mind, that there's not a lot of differences when it comes down to that specific aspect of both these watches. Now, that doesn't mean there's, the same exact watches for the most part, but that is probably the one thing to keep in mind. You have pretty much the same type of experience. You're also getting the same kind of water resistance. You're getting like heart notifications that you can go and hear your, get more information about, your heartbeat and everything like that. You have auto workout tracking, and all those other things. And you even have cellular models of both these watches as well. So when it comes down to both these watches, there are a lot more similarities, in my opinion, than there are differences. And that kind of wraps up everything. I mean, to be honest, if you're going through and you're buying either an Apple Watch SE2 or a Galaxy Watch 5, you are getting, the same kind of experience, but on two different platforms. So it really just depends. Do you like Android? Then you're probably going to go ahead and go with the Galaxy Watch 5. If you own an iPhone, you're probably going to go for the Apple Watch SE. I don't really think there's too many differences, like just beyond like the bodies themselves. Those are the main things. Other than that, there's so many overlapping features that I wouldn't really get worked up on, this watch was so much better than this one. That's not really the case. I like the display of the Galaxy Watch 5. I feel like the bands are better on the Apple Watch SE 2, but honestly, that's kind of how I would sum it up, to be honest. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.